Superfan Saturday in South Africa is not too far away, man. There's some proper South African rugby players in South Africa about to play rugby. After what seems like forever, these guys are about to get underway. Unfortunately, a quick look at the broadcast schedules of the major sports websites, Sky Sport New Zealand, couldn't find these games listed. KO in Australia couldn't find these games listed. Obviously, they're on in South Africa. They are on in Sky Sport in the UK. I think they're scheduled on Rugby Pass, but I'm not sure which zones because Rugby Pass has got a ton of different zones. But yeah, we'll have to see if we can watch these ones down here in New Zealand. It doesn't seem too likely, which is unfortunate. But for you guys in South Africa and any South Africans in the UK or just people in the UK looking forward to seeing some South African rugby, there is a wee bit to look forward to. Two games, one in the afternoon, like 4:30 South African time, is the Lions and the Stormers, and then pretty much straight after at like 7 o'clock is the Bulls and the Sharks. I've put their pre-COVID records on. Not that it means a hell of a lot. It's pretty much ancient history at this point. The Lions and the Bulls weren't doing too well in the South African Conference or in Super Rugby generally. One win, 5 losses for both of them. The Sharks, on the other hand, were absolutely top of the entire log with 6 wins and the 1 loss. And the Stormers were doing not too bad either with just 1 more loss and 1 less win. But yeah, I'll have a quick look at the squads. Now, you guys might have to help me with some of the players because goodness knows I don't know all of these guys in these squads. And to make life a bit trickier, and I guess, remember, treat this kind of like a preseason game because they've named huge squads. The kind of strict rules about the number of subs and whatnot's going to go out the window because it's essentially preseason. These guys just need to get some match fitness. Like the Bulls and the Sharks have just named every name that they could available. But I'll go through some of them. Like some of the guys you're going to see in action in that first game with the Lions and the Stormers. That one, they've actually named proper teams. So Lions, you got Smith, Visaki, and Dreyer in the front row. That actually looks pretty reasonable. Skuman and Ori in the second row. Ori is going to be one of his guys who's going to have to put his hand up in the absence of all the other South African locks with so many injuries around that second row. Jaco Kriel is back. Tuka is there at 7. Daimani is at 8. Very dynamic ball carrier. If you haven't seen Daimani play, he's worth tuning in for because essentially he's a guy that they legit wanted to turn into a midfielder because he's got that kind of build and that kind of gas about him. Warner and Yankees 9 and 10. Udendal, who's moved over from the Bulls. Similani make up the midfield. Maxwani, Skosan, and Russo are your wingers and your fullback. But the number of guys on the bench goes up to 30 because, again, it's preseason. They're just able to name kind of all and sundry. Masane is there, Kalusadi is there, Ulengo is there, Viljoen, who's moved over from the Stormers, Dylan Smith. There's like loads of guys in that Lions squad. The Stormers side is probably a bit more familiar for some, I guess. You got Kitsoff, Intubeni, and Malherba as an all-Springbok front row. Morat and Schikkeling is your second row. And again, in terms of guys who need to be putting their hands up for Springbok places, both of those guys you'd think would be in the running. Kolisi is there, Van Rijn is there, and Augustus. Augustus is another one of those guys who's only just seemed to be kind of hitting his full potential after being quite the up-and-coming youngster. He was just really hitting his straps at number 8 for the Stormers, and then COVID happened. Yankees, that's Herschel is number 9, Damien Willems is number 10. Willems is another one with Pollard being injured who needs to have a good game, although, I mean, come on, this is preseason, so we'll give him a chance. But he's one that the eyes are going to be on for sure. Pretorius and Duplessis are 12 and 13. Zas, Sinatla are the wingers, and Warwick Galant is their fullback. They haven't quite named as many players for the Stormers. They've got a total of 26. With Mbonambi is on the bench. Good to see him back. Tim Sviel, Tristan Lades. Has to be a relation of Dylan. Has to be. But yeah, Stormers are going to be the favourites for that one big time. even though it's preseason. If I look at the bookies over here in New Zealand, they're 4-point favourites. So predicted to get a win in that one pretty easily. But remember, it's preseason, so don't take it kind of too... It's going to be serious in that first game back for ages. The next one with the Bulls and the Sharks, man, huge squads. They haven't named a full kind of 1 to 15. They've just named a bunch of guys. For the Bulls, you got the likes of Travis Ishmael. You've got Mornay Stein. You got Ivan Fansale. I think Fansale will probably get the gig because they've also got Ambrose Papia. But with Jake White in charge, I would have thought Fansale is more of a Jake White style player. Stickling is there. Dwayne Vermeulen is captain. Arnold Botha is back from Munster. Michael van Staden. Jason Jenkins is another one in terms of the locks. There's still locking depth in South Africa, even if you minus all those main guys. But still, a lot of these guys quite haven't had the time at international level. Trevor Nyakane. Ajande Kriya is back. That's a blast from the past, seeing him back in South Africa. Nizam Kar, another guy who's back in South Africa. Tim Agaba, although Ajande Kriya was back before COVID, if I remember rightly. Cornel Hendricks, Gio Aplon, back in South Africa. Jake White's shaking things up, man. That side hardly looks like the one that was there pre-lockdown. There's a few guys who are kind of experienced, to say the least, but yeah, we'll see how they go. I trust Jake White to get the best out of these guys. For the Sharks, I see a lot of names missing. It seems like there's a lot of guys injuries keeping them out of the game. Fussy is definitely one. He was the main guy I was looking out for, but I see he's got a shoulder injury, which is unfortunate. Sharks have got Oxenchair, which is awesome to see because he is going to be floating around that Springboks lineup. Thomas Dutoy. Hyron Andrews, another guy who wants to put his hand up for those lock. Man, I was thinking the Springboks are going to be really short of locks. But as I go through these teams, there's a lot of guys who are pretty useful locks. Again, maybe not quite like Ludiaka, Ebenezer Beth, Franco Mostert, Archie Snyman level, but give them some time, man. Sukumbo Zanoche, kind of like Augustus, was another guy having a top pre-COVID season. Kuan Bosch, in terms of stepping up for Pollard, maybe he's another guy who needs to step up. JP Peterson. Mahani Libok, apparently, I think they said he's likely going to play fullback now that he's moved to the Sharks from the Bulls. This one seems to be a bit harder for the bookies to call because the Bulls are 0.5 point favourites. So remember, it is being played at Loftus. So I guess expect the Bulls to have like a mild advantage in that one. They're the only true home team. And I guess the Sharks are from Durban, so that's not an altitude location. So that may also give the Bulls. Lions are also an altitude team. A little hint of an advantage. So, yeah. Still unsure what's the deal with the broadcast of these games, which is pretty unfortunate because, God, how long have we been waiting for South African rugby to get back? And New Zealand doesn't seem like they're going to show it, which is a tragedy. If true, I'll get in touch with Sky New Zealand in a minute. But, yeah, we will have to wait and see. You guys let me know your thoughts on these games. How do you think they're going to go? It's kind of pre-season, so we won't be reading too much into the results for these ones. I definitely skimmed over a few guys who I either just missed or names I'm not that familiar with. So if you guys haven't seen the lineups, I'll see if I can link the lineups in the description. Check them out. And if there's other guys we need to look out for, check those names in the comments because one way or another, I feel like I'm going to see these games. You know what I mean? Got to get it done. It's on at like 2 in the morning in New Zealand, but that one's closer to 6, so I'll have to see if I can get up and watch it somehow or another. Anyway, you guys let me know your thoughts. Very, very happy days to see the South African teams finally back in action. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.